Welcome to the science of the impossible. Somewhere out there, a civilization billions of years older than us may have already done the truly unthinkable. I mean, they haven't just landed on a planet, they haven't just colonized a nearby moon, they've built a megastructure so impossibly massive that it literally swallows an entire star. Just imagine taking a literal ball of fusing hydrogen, a star 100 times wider than Earth, and wrapping it completely. In today's explainer, we're breaking down the science of Dyson spheres based on some absolutely fascinating source material. So let's dive right in.
All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, the ultimate power move, or Freeman Dyson's 1960 vision.
Way back in 1960, the physicist Freeman Dyson realized something pretty profound. He saw that as an exponentially growing civilization advances, the one single resource it craves more than anything else is energy. It's not land, it's not minerals, it is pure energy. But look at this fraction on the screen, 1/2 billionth. Every step up we take as a civilization, from the industrial age to the digital age, all the way to some theoretical interstellar age, demands exponentially more power. Yet, Earth only captures about 1/2 billionth of the sun's total energy output. The rest of it just radiates completely uselessly out into empty space. I mean, that is wildly, almost unbelievably inefficient, right? So the crucial point here is this. An advanced civilization doesn't just keep building bigger and taller cities. To meet those staggering energy demands, the logical endgame, as Dyson realized, is to capture the literal star itself. That is truly the only way to harness the kind of energy required to run a profoundly advanced society.
Which brings us to Section 2, a swarm, not a shell. Time to do a little myth busting.
Before we go any further, I absolutely have to call out that huge pop culture CGI misconception you might be picturing in your head right now. Dyson never actually proposed the solid metal ball. A solid shell just has impossible physics. There is literally no material strong enough to resist the massive gravitational and rotational forces going on there. A solid shell would just fracture and collapse straight back into the star. Instead, look at the physically plausible reality on the right, a Dyson swarm. Picture a hollowed-out beehive made of millions or even billions of independent solar collectors orbiting the star in formation.
And here's the absolute most vital takeaway about this whole megastructure. A Dyson swarm isn't built in the way that we build a skyscraper or a bridge. It's grown. Creating this thing doesn't require us to suddenly invent exotic sci-fi physics. It just requires immense time, an absurd amount of raw material, and self-replication. So let's move right into Section 3, how to build a swarm, and really the sheer power of exponential growth.
If an advanced civilization decides to actually pull this off, they're going to follow a set of highly practical, though completely mind-bending steps. Let me walk you through this incredible exponential cycle. Step 1. You don't start with the star. You start with a metal-rich planet, like Mercury, and you use mining robots to completely disassemble it. Step 2. You take those raw materials and build your first batch of solar collectors. Step 3. Those collectors gather energy directly from the star, which you then use to power an even larger army of mining robots. And finally, Step 4, those new robots disassemble the next planet, and you just repeat the cycle exponentially. You are literally turning planets into a massive robotic workforce.
Because of that exponential self-replication, the construction time you're seeing might actually shock you, well under 1 million years. Thanks to that exponential growth, a civilization could go from launching their very first solar collector to completely enclosing a host star in what is essentially a cosmic eye blink.
Reaching that milestone turns a society into what is known as a Type 2 civilization on the Kardashev scale. This means they've achieved full mastery and access to the entire energy output of their host star. Having that much energy on tap grants unlimited power for unthinkable computation, massive megastructures, and, well, possibly even manipulating spacetime itself for propulsion.
And hey, this isn't just pure theory either. Let's look at Section 4, hunting for alien megastructures, and why the search is incredibly real.
See, if a Dyson swarm actually exists out there, it would absorb starlight and re-emit massive amounts of waste heat, which we can actually detect as infrared radiation from Earth. Back in 2015, astronomers thought they might have actually spotted one. Tabby's star, located deep in space, began dimming really irregularly. And I'm not talking about a tiny dip from a planetary transit. It was dropping in brightness by over 20%. Normal, natural phenomena just couldn't cleanly explain it. The data was so completely baffling that the phrase alien megastructure briefly left the realm of science fiction and became a serious, published idea in peer-reviewed scientific literature. I mean, researchers were legitimately entertaining the hypothesis that we were looking at a partially constructed Dyson swarm. But let's elegantly resolve this mystery, shall we? A solid megastructure would block all wavelengths of light equally. However, follow-up observations showed that Tabby's star dimmed more in blue light than it did in red. And guess what? A dust cloud matches that wavelength behavior perfectly. So, the megastructure theory was officially debunked for this particular star. The likely cause was really just an unusually thick dust cloud from a shredded comet or maybe a planet.
Even though Tabby's star turned out to be a false alarm, it proved that our detection method actually works. Today, fully funded astronomical surveys, like Project Hephaestus, are actively cross-referencing infrared data across hundreds of millions of stars. They are actively hunting for those exact unexplained infrared signatures as we speak. That naturally leads us into Section 5, the Fermi Paradox connection and the Great Silence.
So, here's the big question. If the universe is incredibly old, and if these massive swarms scream indetectable infrared light, why on Earth haven't we detected a single one yet? Well, here are a few unsettling potential answers to that great silence. First up, efficiency. Maybe advanced technology eventually finds a workaround for needing brute force stellar energy, making this whole concept kind of a young civilization fantasy. Second, and this is a lot darker, self-destruction. Perhaps the sheer intelligence and technological reach required to build a swarm inevitably causes a civilization to destroy itself first. Or third, insufficient searching. Maybe we simply haven't surveyed enough of our incredibly massive galaxy yet to spot one.
Let's bring this cosmic scale all the way back down to Earth for Section 6. Could we do this? Humanity's first steps. Do we actually have what it takes to construct a Dyson swarm? The answer is kind of split. Physics? Yes, for sure. We already understand the core physics required to make this happen. But our industrial base? Absolutely not. We completely lack the self-replicating robotic manufacturing and the immense off-world mining capabilities required to even think about attempting it. But if you look at this timeline, we are making our laughably modest, yet absolutely crucial ancestral first steps. In the near future, we're going to build larger orbiting solar arrays. The next steps will involve actual asteroid mining operations. And in the distant future, well, we might just build a small constellation of solar collectors near Mercury. It definitely won't be a swarm, but it will be the beginning. Now, let's just slow things down for a moment. This brings us to the ultimate test. If you want to explore more about the Fermi Paradox from the source material we analyzed today, this explainer has really laid out the foundational question you need to grapple with. Because it isn't just about whether we have the engineering chops to build it. It leaves us with this profound, heavy, existential reflection. Are we wise enough to survive having unlimited energy? Honestly, maybe that is the real great filter. I really want you to think about that. Thank you so much for exploring this incredible topic with me on this explainer, and I will catch you on the next one.